new episode.
Yo, what is going on? Oh my gosh, this was extremely last minute. I got my cardio in today, and it is not going to be tomorrow, which is great because that means we will be watching several parts of this interview for multiple days because it is 4 hours. So this was definitely put together last minute. I didn't know that. I found out extremely late that this was dropping at 8 p.m. tonight, my time. So as soon as I was left the gym, I was like, yeah, we gotta get this going. So yes, if anybody is wondering, that is why there was no live notification put out all day. Didn't really plan on it, but then when I found out Shawn, Ryan, and Candace was going, the interview was dropping tonight, I said, we got to. Then when I looked at the duration and it said 4 hours, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I can't do this for 4 hours. So I said, you know what? Let's at least start it tonight. And then whenever I get tired, we can pause, have an intermission, and maybe resume tomorrow. I did my cardio tonight, so I am good for the rest of the week unless somehow my wife goes into labor. But outside of that, we good. So I'm good tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Hopefully only 3 days, maybe, because lives are always 3 hours anyway, ish, like 2.5, 3 hours. So yeah, we're going to try to get through it. So that is what tonight is about. This is my emergency podcast because I didn't expect this. I didn't expect tonight to go this way. So we will be watching the Shawn, Ryan, and Candace interview the entire time and obviously providing commentary here and there. But that is what tonight is about. It has to be a banger for them people to talk for 4 hours. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Make sure you hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Make sure you hit the sub button if you're new to the channel. We're on the road to 23K. I appreciate all the support along the way. And let's just get straight to it. I don't want to waste no more time.
Candace Owens, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to do this.
You and me both.
You've done everybody but me.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
Right? I'm just like being completely left out.
Well, dude, I've been nervous to meet you.
Really?
Fuck yeah, I'm nervous to meet you.
I feel like I
don't want to get on your bad side.
Me?
Me? Little old me?
Sounds like there's some rumors out there about me. I got to clear up. I'm so nice. I'm so friendly,
Well, me and our mutual friend, Dana, had a lot of conversations. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to wind up on her bad side. She always spoke very highly of you. So
it's interesting to think about that, like what people think about you before they meet you, because obviously, as you know, there's always going to be like the caricature, you know what I mean? And so we obviously have to rely on, I don't know, articles, what you hear, what's happening. And I guess there's always that moment where you're like, I wonder if it meets what I think I know about her.
Whatever.
It didn't. Way better.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Obviously. So yeah, I was man, I'm glad we had dinner that night.
Yeah, it was such a great dinner. I mean, your wife's amazing and your story is amazing. And I was always keen to do your show. I was like, wow, he's right here. We're like living in the same town. We were almost neighbors.
Yeah, 4 hours. Yes, somebody said 4 hours. That's what I said. Look down here if you can. 4 hours. I can pull it up for you. 4 hours and 36 minutes. Might as well round up to 5. But I'm sure it's gonna be good.
And you just do great stuff.
Man, I really wish that would have happened.
Yeah.
The neighbor thing.
I know. Almost. Who knows? Maybe in the future.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to cover today.
We do.
Dude.
A lot going on, man.
No kidding. But let me start you off with an introduction. Not that you need one, right? Candace Owens, you're a political commentator, author, and independent journalist known for challenging mainstream narratives and tackling controversial issues. Over the past decade, you've become one of the most influential voices in all of media, building a massive audience through your commentary and investigative reporting. Today, through your independent platform, you continue to cover politics, culture, and current events while questioning official narratives and sparking national debate. And most importantly, you're a Catholic.
Most importantly, I'm a Catholic, a mother, a wife.
That's right. And so before we get into your life story and all the other stuff that we're going to talk about, a couple things to get through. I have a Patreon account. Do you have a Patreon?
I was on Patreon, and I don't think I am anymore, but I know all about Patreon.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, we're on there, and they're the reason I get to sit down with you today. So they get the opportunity to ask every single guest a question. So this is from Kim Turner. Candace, you faced intense public criticism, particularly accusations of disloyalty to the Black community and the Christian community for holding independent views. How do you maintain your composure and stay grounded in who you are when those attacks get personal?
I don't know that I pay too much attention to the criticism that's lobbed at me anymore, only because it's constant. And if I spent every day worried about what other people were thinking about me or allowing them to define who I am, I wouldn't get out of bed. And I've got 4 toddlers at home, so I just shut that entire part of my life off. And people are very surprised by that, but it truly doesn't impact me. I know who I am, so I don't have to go to the internet to learn about who I am.
You legit, it doesn't bother you at all?
No, it genuinely doesn't bother me at all. I'm definitely, I think, battle hardened. I think over time, maybe when I was just getting started, I felt, I don't know, maybe a twinge of that's not fair, that's not true. But when you have substance in your life, like real substance, and you're not swimming in your own insecurities, meaning when I first got started, I wasn't married. I didn't have, I didn't have my family. I didn't have kids relying on me. So life is just so much more substance now, so real.
Wow. Man, I mean, I'm a lot better at it than when I first started, but man, this shit bothers me.
Really?
Yeah. And then I see like the Time magazine cover thing that Trump posted about you.
Oh gosh.
Tweeting about you.
Yeah, that was a moment.
All of your enemies.
Right.
You have a lot of enemies.
I can't even believe that I forgot about the Trump thing, the Trump tweet.
You forgot about it?
Yeah, until you just mentioned it, it's not even something that I even think about. It was so strange. It was so strange. I was in Italy getting confirmed by a cardinal, and that I was so excited about it. And it was just, it's weird because it's the president of the United States. And it's something that maybe you would expect to see if you're in high school and people are trying to like find ways to hurt you. But when the president of the United States is like, you're fat, you're ugly, that it just feels weird. It was just very strange.
Well, it is weird.
It's weird. I mean, objectively, I thought it was very strange. And I don't have...
Did he forget he started a war?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that a little more important than fucking generating AI Time magazine cover photos about podcasters?
And beyond that, just kind of basically saying you're ugly is just, there's something so elementary about it. I'm just not in high school. That's not something that I wake up every day and wonder, does the president of the United States think I'm hot or not? There's something about it like that's just like, okay, he's got a type and he said Brigitte Macron's hotter than me. He's allowed. It's a free country, Yeah. That was definitely a moment where I was going, these is some strange enemies to have.
Did you find humor in it?
I genuinely, at the time, there was just so much going on. I was in Italy and my phone started blowing up, and I was so excited about the eve of my confirmation and I had just had this wonderful dinner with my priest, and I had a meeting with the cardinal about the confirmation, that I just turned my phone off because I didn't want to even let in whatever energy that was. Nope, you're not ruining my day. And I felt like I was like on the eve of my wedding or something. And there was too much spiritual goodness that was surrounding me, I guess is the best way to put it. We had planned that trip for a very long time for me to go to Italy and get confirmed. And I just wasn't going to allow that to be a memory. And so I just was like, I'll deal with that when I get back. And such a strange thing to be in a place where you're putting the president of the United States on hold. Everyone, I guess, was waiting for a response. And I was like,
I don't have time for this shit.
That was it. It was, I don't have time for this. I'm really excited. And this is my wedding day, so to speak. And that was that. And then we had a fantastic time in Italy. And then when I got home and the podcast was back on, I was like, okay, now where's the child? Time to address the child. Here, shame on you. This is not a good look for you. And I don't have that. I don't wake up every day wondering if the president thinks I'm pretty. That's just not a part of my life.
Well, as many enemies as you have, they give you a lot of attention.
They do.
I think it helps you a lot more than it hurts you, which is pretty cool.
Definitely don't think that a moment like that empowers Trump. That's what I would say. I think it diminishes him in a way. You shouldn't relinquish your power like that as the president, to dig up a photo of me when I was sick. And I shared that photo, by the way.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that photo is real. I shared it early on in politics to talk about, I went through a really tough time when, what was it, 2015, I got sick from mold illness. And I never thought I was going to be the same person. It was a leak, an HVAC leak that happened in my building, and it destroyed my insides. I mean, it started what's known as candidiasis growth in my body. Overnight, I felt like my whole life was taken from me. I couldn't think. And if you don't know what toxic mold illness is, it's almost impossible to describe. But I had head to toe overnight eczema. I had never had eczema. Athlete's foot. My eyes were red and just kept pussing. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was happening, why it was happening. My hair fell out. And in the scheme of everything that was going on, the worst part of it, forgetting the physical and not recognizing yourself in the mirror, because I could share worse photos than he shared. I was like, if you want them all, this is actually I look pretty good relative to what was going on head to toe. But the worst part was my brain. The only way to describe it is you can't think. You can't. It's almost like being in a permanent. If you ever had like brain fog, imagine like the most intense brain fog you could ever have, and it just physically exhausted me. So I was just in bed all day, every day. And the only way to beat back that sort of mold illness, they can give you temporary pills, whatever, it's through diet, like the most regimented diet, because sugar is what feeds it. And so it took me a year and I never thought I was going to be able to be myself again. And that was the hardest part, is not being able to think. And I have relied, I didn't realize how much I had, relied on my ability to reply, and I loved writing. And so I remember just getting on my hands and knees and praying, bargaining really actually with God, which isn't something that you should do. But I was like, I don't even care about the physical stuff. I don't care if my hair never grows back. I don't care if I have these patches all over my face forever, if they never clear up. I don't care if I have athlete's foot once a week. Like, please just let me think. Like, please just clear the cloud in my brain. And I think about it because it was right before I became a public figure. And I just now have the perspective that I was truly humbled before, and never thought I was going to look the same. And I never even realized how much easier, how much I had relied on being like generally good looking, to kind of get through life. Like I didn't want to see anybody. And I only saw my cousin who still works with me today, and would not go out of the house, and because I was sleeping mostly the whole time and anyway. And it was a long process, a very strict diet. Obviously, I got so skinny because you kind of have to starve it.
Damn.
Yeah, you kind of have to starve it. So anything that has sugar, even fruit, feeds it. But in the retrospect, I learned how to cook everything from scratch. I learned how to eat the best ingredients. I learned about ingredients, and I became really passionate about that. That's why I garden today.
Why do you cover Candace Owens yet you criticize her all the time? That's very dramatic to say I criticize her all the time just because I have critiqued a few things here and there. That is extremely dramatic because you're also not taking into account that one of my accounts is solely supporting Candace Owens and everything that she's doing and giving her flowers majority of the time. And then I make a couple of videos of being like, that don't really make sense what Candace is doing right now. And you're saying I criticize her all the time. So that's crazy. I support her quite often. And I've said I've been a fan of her content for a very long time, for years. That doesn't mean that I 100% believe and have faith in somebody. all the time. There are going to be plenty of times. She's literally talking about her faith right now. I don't agree with the Catholicism stuff. That's criticizing, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean I don't like her anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So that's very dramatic. It was so good. I can't wait. I know it's gonna get better. I don't plan on playing all 4 hours tonight. That is crazy. But I do plan on watching it as long as I can, however long that may be. It might be to midnight, it might be to 1. I'm not sure, but I do plan on playing it as long as I can before I get too sleepy.
So yeah, I was humbled. I was humbled right before I got into the public sphere. And so I actually look back on it quite fondly. And I think it kept me away from a lot of the vanity that comes.
It's on Patreon, I think is what they call it. It's Shawn Ryan's like thing where you have to pay for it. So it's behind a paywall. Right now it is. So this is exclusive for you. I paid for it. It will come out on YouTube for free on Thursday, I believe. So you can wait for free. You can watch it with us, with the Yap community for a couple of days. I already paid for it. It's only $5 if you really want to go through it yourself and not wait.
With politics and publicity. Because I know it can just like that be taken away from me.
Man, wow.
Been ride with her from the beginning.
At your lowest point and exploited it all over the internet.
Yeah, and then I shared it with everybody. I was like, I've got worse pictures. I mean, I was sick. I don't know. I guess you can go around and find people when they have cancer and lose their hair and put them on a Time magazine. I was very sick, but I'm really proud of it. It's such a weird thing, but I shared it myself. And so I think what happened was a lot of times with his team, they just look for things on the internet and they're trying to be fast and respond. And they didn't know where the source of that photo was. And it was me. I shared it back when I first entered into politics and talked about, a tough time in my life. And I'm still just very proud of it. And gratefully, thank God, I got everything back, not just my brain. My hair came back, my skin cleared. And yeah, I'm very grateful.
Man. Well, I want to do a life story on you. Actually, one more thing. Everybody gets a gift.
What am I getting? I feel like everybody gives a gift, but I don't have a life that's cool enough to match all of these gifts. I actually love gummy bears. Are these actually elite?
Yeah.
They are elite gummy bears.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't put Vigilance elite gummy bears on here if they're not elite.
They're elite.
Okay.
Rip them open.
I'm going to have one. I'll be the judge of that.
All right.
Here we go. I love gummy bears.
Good.
Yeah. They smell really good. I will say that. They actually smell really good. I love gummy bears. Of course, I went with red.
What do you think?
I'm not just saying this because I'm on your show. They are really good. Why are they good?
Well,
it's the Candace Shawn Ryan interview. And it's behind a paywall because he always does that. It's always behind a paywall. All of his interviews, and then the ones that you see on YouTube just come out days later. So it's the same thing with the Megyn Kelly one. It came out days before. You pay $5 if you want to see it early, or you could just wait 2-3 more days and it come out on YouTube.
Because they're made in the USA.
That's it.
Michigan.
America, baby.
That's right.
250 years of elite gummy bears.
Yeah. But all right, Candace, I want to do a life story on you, and then towards the end, we'll get into all the stuff you've been digging into for about the past year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So where'd you grow up?
So I was born in New York, in White Plains. That's actually where my mother grew up mostly, and she went to high school there. So a lot of my family's in that area, Rye, White Plains area. And then I went to school and had my formative years in Stamford, Connecticut, which is just kind of outside of the city. Right. It's kind of like if you have a job in the city and want to live in the suburbs, you move to Greenwich, Stamford, New Canaan, Fairfield County area.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many siblings do you have?
3. I have a brother and I have 2 sisters.
What's your parents do?
Well, my dad was a plumber growing up, and my mother worked at a chiropractic facility, sort of as like the manager, and did a lot of the billing for them.
Okay. You guys tight?
Yes.
Tight family?
Yes. Like, well, my parents are divorced, so I mean, I guess you'd have to ask independently everybody's relationships, but my sisters, my siblings, we are very close. You have to have people, especially in the life that I live, who really deeply know you. And so in the morning time, every morning I get up when I work out, call my sisters,
Shawn Ryan
and talk about everything. My
Candace Owens
sister,
interview
my little sister right now, she's saving up
just
like
came
some
out
extra
today.
money for her wedding. And so she's actually helping me right now, like sort through the tips box. So we weren't close growing up though. Like, I mean, me and my sisters, each of us, we're a year and a half apart. So we just bludgeoned each other, over everything pretty much.
Where do you fall in the lineup?
In the middle. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? Middle child syndrome, it's a thing. It's a real thing. Shout out to everyone who's a middle child in the world right now.
Right on. Right. What were you into as a kid? What'd you like to do?
I was always really into dance, coordinating dances. I was very sporty. I think I took after my mom in that way. My mother played basketball and cheerled when she was in high school. She didn't finish high school. My mother's a high school dropout, but she got pregnant. But when she was in high school, she was very athletic, and so I kind of took after my mom in that way. So I did cheerlead in high school. I did track and field, and we moved into my grandfather's house when I was 8 years old. I was just like a granddaddy's girl. I was obsessed with my grandfather, and he just was always doing stuff in the backyard, one of those old school guys. I think of my grandfather as having like car grease on his hands. That's what makes me think of my granddad, like car oil on his hands. His hands were always blackened, and he always had a cloth and was wiping them, and somehow always had cash in his pocket and would, give me and my sisters cash. And I was always just kind of fluffing around in the yard with my grandpa, like in the woods doing stuff. So my sisters and I were like cutting worms, climbing trees. I was definitely, I would say, a tomboy. Like I just liked to be outside, which I think is very new to this generation, and everything's behind a screen. But we were active. We were very active, jump roping, bike riding. Granddad taught me how to ride a bike. Remember the day it happened. Yeah, I loved it, being outside.
Why did you move in with your grandparents at age 8?
Because we were poor. So
Did your parents move in with you?
Yes. And the house was too small for all of us to fit into it, but we made it work. My grandfather came to the apartment that we were living in, which was in this really sort of dilapidated building, and it had roaches. I was not you're not aware of those things so much when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just knew that maybe it was once a month. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe it was less or more, but we'd have to sort of take all the pots and pans out of the cabinets because the exterminator would have to come and spray because there was roaches, And that's not, my mother kept a very clean apartment actually, but it doesn't matter in those sorts of environments. You live like your neighbors live. And so my grandfather just came and said, I don't want my grandbabies growing up like this, because he worked really hard in his life, starting in a sharecropping farm and ending where he did when my grandfather died. He went back and actually purchased the sharecropping farm in the South.
Wow.
That's where he retired. But he was living up north at that time in Connecticut, and they had a middle.
I don't know. I hope so. Hopefully it's copyright safe. When I played the Megyn Kelly show, it played for the most part. I had no issues. Usually these big channels like this, like Candace and Shawn and all that, they typically don't care. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow morning.
Class house, and he just said, I don't want my grandbabies to grow up like this. So we moved into their house, and my sister and I lived in the attic. He put carpet down in the attic and turned it into a room, which I thought was so cool because I used to love the show Hey Arnold, and Hey Arnold had like an attic too. It's a very, very good show. And my mother and father were in the basement, so we just had to kind of all fit in the house, and it was the best thing I think that could have happened for my life. It's the single greatest thing that probably changed my life, was moving in with my grandparents and sort of being under my grandfather's patriarchy, if you will.
Is he still alive?
No, my granddad passed a couple of years ago. It's really hard.
Has he seen the rise of Candace?
Yeah, granddad. There was one of these really viral moments where I went to go testify at Congress. and my granddad was behind me. It's a great clip. When Ted Lieu says something, I don't know what I think he played a clip of me and tried to apply what I supported Adolf Hitler or something. And you see my granddad in the back. He's like, "No, she did not say that. Like, no, she did not say that." And I was like, Granddad was going to get up and give Ted Lieu a beat down. Nobody talks to his grandbaby like that. Ted Lieu, calm down. And it's such I'm so happy that was captured actually on camera, because shortly after that, his mind started to go and his memory started to go. And so it's just one of those last memories that I have of my.
It might be straight too, because this is from Patreon. Usually sometimes I'll get a notification if somebody uses my YouTube video and it'll show me the copyright stuff, and you can approve or deny it. But since it's Patreon coming from something else, maybe YouTube, it's not even out on YouTube yet. So I feel like we should be good. If this was from YouTube, it'd be totally different, but I don't know. Like I said, we'll see about tomorrow. They'll tell me if it's a copyright thing.
Granddad, he was always behind me, whether it was teaching me how to ride a bike and letting go, or behind me at in Congress. I just my grandparents were just absolutely amazing.
Wow. What would you say to him if you were here today?
I got to say everything I needed to say to my granddad.
That's good. Good for you.
Yeah, because my grandmother died unexpectedly, and so I made a very conscious decision to slow down and make sure that I got to say everything to my granddad. He knows how much I loved him.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you're with your grandparents all the way through high school?
Until 10th grade, and then we kind of moved into a condo. But all of my formative years are with my grandparents, always being around. And yeah, it was you wake up in the morning, granddad made breakfast, my grandmother would make dinner, and it was, my grandfather just had a lot of rules for us to follow because he grew up in the South, and it was just very structured. And my work ethic comes from my grandfather without question. He had a job since he was 5 years old, laying out tobacco to dry on a sharecropping farm. So he just got after the day every day.
Wow. How old were you when your parents got divorced?
23.
Oh, 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got, my mom and my dad were just one of those couples that.
23?
Yeah.
23. How long were they married?
Oh gosh. They got married in 93. So they got married after I was born. And then they just were there was just a lot of fighting. It wasn't one of those good relationships. And then when we were all out of the house, they called and said that they were getting a divorce. And at that point, I remember saying to my dad, no. Now you guys should stay together. Now it should be until death do you part. Now that we're out of the house, you're gonna separate. I remember exactly where I was walking, exactly which street I was walking on in New York State when I got the call. And yeah, they it was an interesting thing because I got to see in my house two totally different examples of how to live. My grandparents were very conservative, and my grandfather met my grandmother when he was 17, and they stayed married until her dying day. And then I had the opposite example where the generation beneath my grandparents, despite how they had raised them, they were just so different. All of my dad's siblings had been divorced, and it was a new culture. And I remember when granddad got sick, or started getting sick, I was helping him fix up his house, and we talked about it. And I was like, how do people who are raised and so conservatively kind of have, I guess, more liberal viewpoints on marriage? And my granddad said something, and he was right. It's just the way he delivered it, which is so funny. But he just said, it was those darn hippies. He just says the hippies ruined everything. And it's a valid point. I've done some research, and I'm like, granddad was right. They kind of brought in this sort of sex, love, rock and roll, love who you love. Everything became so much more temporal, I guess. And I am just so my grandfather's child. My viewpoints, I'm going backward. Everybody wants to be progressive. I'm like, I want to be regressive. I want some of that stuff that granddad had.
What did you want to be as a child? What did you want to become occupationally?
Gosh, what was the first thing I wanted to be? An archaeologist.
An archaeologist.
Yes, I was really into, as soon as I learned about Egypt, I had this weird fascination with Egypt. And just, I don't know, just, I remember in 3rd grade, just wanting to be like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an archaeologist. That was my first thing I can remember wanting to be. And then you'll probably say appropriately, I then was convinced I was going to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Definitely see
And I
that.
would have made a really good lawyer.
You still would.
It's never too late.
It'd probably come in handy for you.
It would. I actually kind of feel like I am a lawyer in many ways. I get sued so much, and I really enjoy talking to my lawyer. He's just become such a friend and understanding it. I love to read the documents. I mean,
not 105
other
here.
people getting sued. I made a whole series in the Blake Lively series. I do have a love for legal work, but I don't have to be sued to love it. I have to get that straight in my mind. You don't have to be sued to appreciate law. But yeah.
How many times do you think you've been sued?
Too many. Like, I mean, in the last few years, it's been a lot, man. It's been like, I feel like the Daily Wire was like 3 episodes that happened, which felt like a lot. And then I have obviously the Brigitte one, which was a lot. And then I got pulled into the Blake Lively one, which isn't really like being involved. And then they tried to pull me into some Kanye one, not being the person who was sued. But yeah. So I just kind of got familiar with the people that were serving the paperwork. They're great guys, by the way. The servers, they're fantastic. They show up in like motorcycles, like, we love you, like, you know, and we're gonna charge the other guys more. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. And then this Brian Harpole one, which I'm being sued because of your show. You know,
my show.
Yeah, you know, I should sue you. Brian
Harpole's
lawyer. I'm gonna drag you into my lawsuit.
We have a running every time the FedEx truck drives around here. We're like, oh fuck, here it comes. I don't even open them anymore. I just send them to.
So funny.
Tim.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. Well, when Brian Harpole sued me, his lawyer wrote this amazing story, which was just made entirely no sense, where he said that the reason. Basically, they were trying to make the argument that he's not a public figure, which is very important. You have to establish in defamation, are you a public figure or are you a private person? And obviously, he made himself a public figure by going on this podcast and interjecting himself into this Charlie narrative. So they were trying to argue that he's not a public figure. And he basically said he was forced to become a public figure because of me. I'm the reason he had to go on the Shawn Ryan show to clear his name. And I never covered him on my show once. Never spoke his name on my show before he went on your show, because it was.
So hold on, he's claiming he came here because to counter your narrative.
Yeah.
But you weren't talking about him.
Never said one word about him or the security apparatus, because I knew them and my mind just wasn't there at all until he did your interview. And it was so disastrous in my view. And I think also the view of all the people who watched it, according to the comments, there was just something off about it. And I went, whoa, he's answering questions weird. The stuff that he's saying doesn't really make sense. But that's their argument they're trying to make, because they're trying to get the court to see him as a private figure who only had to come out and do the Shawn Ryan show, one of the biggest podcasts in the world, defend himself against me. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a tricky argument, considering I never spoke about you ever on my show until you did the Shawn Ryan.
So wait a minute, what exactly?
It's crazy.
What is he suing you for?
Defamation, which is difficult for me to comprehend, because it's so in the category of opinion. Like the first 3 pages of a lawsuit, he's just kind of calling me an anti-Semite, and I don't know what that has to do with the lawsuit at all. He's not Jewish, last I checked. Neither is Charlie Kirk. But he then moves on by saying that I defamed him because I said that the security team was incompetent. And so he's blaming me for a loss of revenue to his business because I said he's incompetent. Now, I would generally say if you have a business and your job is to provide security and your client dies on the job, that might be the reason you're not getting many clients. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I don't think people will be lining up to hire the same security people that guarded Charlie Kirk on September 10th. But he thinks it's actually because of me calling him, among many other things, calling him incompetent, asking questions about why they didn't have people on the rooftop that day, saying that like the support they supplied to Charlie's neck was inadequate. I mean, just things that you can see with your own eyes as they're handing him to the car, as they're like holding him to the car, him saying on your show that they didn't provide CPR because he had to stop the bleeding. I have questions about that. If your heart stops, what's it matter if you stop the bleeding? So I'm going to stand by my assessment that he was incompetent. And then the second chunk of his lawsuit is his saying that, I guess, defamation per se might be his argument, because I asked about whether he was at Fort Huachuca because somebody believes they saw him at Fort Huachuca on the 9th. But he admits in a lawsuit that I texted him 4 times asking him just to say yes or no, so I could just, very quickly say, oh, I reached out to him, he said it wasn't him. But his reason for why he didn't answer me, despite me trying to just get an answer.
It's on Patreon, the app. You got to pay like $5. Well, not like $5. It is $5. So it's behind a paywall, but I already paid for it. So it's on YouTube. I'm watching it right now. If you don't feel like paying $5, but I'm only watching until I get tired because it's 4.5 hours long.
Sir, and why he decided to just.
It might be like 2, maybe 3 parts. I feel like we can knock it out in 2, but potentially 3 parts.
Just instead sue me was because, what was his bizarre legal reason for why he just didn't answer any of my questions? I think he said because, he didn't want me to get famous off of him. I promise you this is his argument, is that the reason he didn't answer.
He didn't want you to get famous off of him.
That I was just going to use it for clicks. So if he had answered me and said, no, I wasn't at Fort Huachuca, then I would have used it for clicks. And he didn't want me to use him for clicks. So that is the thrust of the lawsuit.
So what does he want? Is he suing you for money?
I think, he wants money, and to be determined by a jury because his business has been affected.
So this shit's actually going to court.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm really okay with, because a lot of the questions that we're just trying to get answered, we can now force him to answer them and bring other people in too to sit down for deposition. So
do you have a court date?
Not yet, because we still have to, actually, don't quote me on that. I have to check in with my lawyers. We might have I think we have something coming up where we have to file our response in the next coming weeks or something.
Where will it happen?
Here
in Nashville?
Yeah, he's got to sue me here. This is where I defamed him, apparently. So I didn't know. Did he tell you he was really felt like he had to do the show because of me? It's very strange.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it would have been weird because I never talked about him. So, hey, can I come on because of Candace not talking about me? It's weird. It's totally wacky. It feels like a PR move to me, to be honest with you.
That's why I like her so much, bro. Because the sarcasm is that's literally me to a T. I am just as sarcastic, and it's hilarious when she does it because it's really, I don't know. The humor is just my type for sure. She is funny.
Yeah, but
you think it'll go the distance, or you think they'll just drop suit?
I think they filed it in such a sloppy manner that they're hoping the court drops it. And then they can say, well, we tried, we were telling the truth. And there is a lot of that in the court system where people file for PR reasons. I mean, Brigitte is a perfect example of that, where you're doing something that you kind of know you can't win in court, but it allows you to then say, well, we really tried. And obviously we must have been telling the truth or we wouldn't have sued. And that's not the case. I have not changed my mind about Brian Hartpole, and I was very thorough in trying to just get him to give me a response. I would have happily taken a response from him, and he still hasn't offered one. He just sued me.
Do they have any other clients?
I don't know. He hasn't, since it was just the initial filing, we haven't gotten into the details of who's not booking him or if someone dropped him, but that would just, to me, seem like common sense, especially when you say, if you watched his interview with you, you wouldn't book him. It's just the presentation.
I'm just curious. What did the defamation do? Is he still working for TPSU?
He's not. My understanding is he's not still working for Turning Point USA. And I did hear through the grapevine that they sent him a cease and desist after all of the flack that he got for his various appearances, things that he was saying that was just making things worse, because he doesn't sound honest when he speaks. He's not clear. And he's also dishonest. I mean, he said, even when I was watching your show, and that was one of the reasons we covered it, was because we instantly learned he presented those messages when you asked him about the rooftop. He shows these messages, and then he says, what am I supposed to do with that? you know, the implication being that this was a conversation he was having, but it wasn't. He was showing you Dan Flood's text messages. So that was strange and dishonest. And yeah, they were also, the discussion wasn't even about Losi Center. The discussion was about the walkway above Charlie. So it seemed like even when he was on the show, he was focused on PR, but he just wasn't very convincing. And that's literally in the lawsuit that I described him as not very convincing. And that's defamatory.
That's defamatory.
And I stand by it. He wasn't very convincing.
Yeah, I probably should have pressed him more. I fucking felt bad though. I mean, it was still really fresh, and the guy's tearing. I've been around a lot of loss, in my previous career, and so I wanted to be respectful. You know what I mean? But
she said,
yeah, I think you did the right thing, actually, because even though the viewers might feel frustration, the reality is that if you had put him under the light, so to speak, he would have clammed up. And we benefited a lot from him just speaking. I'm still benefiting from him just speaking in other parts of that conversation that are being pulled and discussed. Certainly from a lawsuit's sake, it's beneficial that he kept describing things in detail. So I think it was good to sort of let him talk.
What are some of the other gems that you pulled out of my interview with Brian Harpool?
I mean, I think at some point, I think it was your interview, it might have been someone else's, where he said that when he got to the hospital and he's like directing the staff or whatever, and he like said that he cut off Charlie's shirt. I mean, that's fantasy. That's full fantasy. That's not how that happened. Everybody knows that. When you get to the ER and somebody is on a stretcher, some random guy who's bringing the person in doesn't start calling the shots in the hospital. So there's a lot of questions.
That's a fact. I mean, I said the same thing about Shawn Ryan not really saying nothing when Brian Harbaugh was right in front of his face. But, I don't know. It's so weird, all of this stuff. So maybe, like he said, maybe he just felt bad, felt terrible. And a lot of people don't like being a villain. So I kind of believe it. It takes like a different breed to be a villain. That's why Candace is the way she is. A lot of people don't like being a villain. So I don't think Shawn Ryan probably felt like in that moment that he wanted to be like, man, this guy is being fake and I don't believe him, and like questions him and goes back hard. I don't really see that from Shawn Ryan. I see him as very professional fence sitter. Whoever's in front of him, he's going to conduct a great interview, and he's not going to really ask any crazy tough questions. I guess we might see tonight with Candace. I don't know. But as far as anybody else, I just think he just sits on the fence.
About what took place at the hospital, why Kash Patel moved to have the cameras as one of the first acts is to get the cameras down inside of the hospital. It's very strange. The varying stories that they've all told about what took place, why they were all then wearing scrubs. Frank Turek saying that he was on the phone the whole time and didn't realize with his
Who's Frank Turek?
Frank Turek was another one of the people that was in the car.
Okay.
And he's former military. He was there and jumped in the car with them. By the way, that's even weird. I don't know why he jumped in the car with him, to be honest with you. And he was at the hospital, and he tells conflicting stories and says that they did perform CPR. It's all just very strange. It just seems like something. Why are all of your stories running into each other?
How are those running into each other?
Facts. I definitely thought he was gonna push back, Angela, and he got all of these, weapons around him. So like he should have been one of the main ones questioning the narrative with the whole 30-6 thing. And Brian Harbaugh was trying to sit there and explain to him what happened, and he was like, "Really?" Like he was all into it. I don't know, bro. It's weird.
They say.
Well,
some people are saying they did give him CPR. Some are saying they didn't.
Brian said they did not perform.
I'm lagging. My Wi-Fi, they cut the whole Wi-Fi off on the block, and they got some weird thing outside that we got to use for the whole week. So bear with me. But if it's terrible, don't forget you can just go to YouTube. YouTube has been fine on the Wi-Fi. I don't know why my phone is tripping and my iPad is tripping, but YouTube is working fine, and the video is on the screen too. If TikTok is not satisfying you,
perform CPR because they were focused on stopping the bleeding. Frank said that they did perform CPR. Brian said that Frank was just in the back seat praying. Frank said that he got involved, which is the reason why he had all the blood on him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the discrepancy between the people that are in the car doesn't really make sense.
I mean, I don't know. Do you give CPR to somebody who's been shot in the fucking neck?
Well, if you don't keep someone's heart going, it doesn't matter, right?
I feel like he might not know who Frank Turek is. Frank Turek is kind of weird, like weird pastor man, not really like a public figure. I don't know, just a weirdo. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn Ryan really don't know who he is. I can't believe we were forced to figure out who he was and know who he is. I would rather wish I didn't know who he was. So he might not know.
Nothing else matters if your heart stops pumping. So yeah, you would give CPR. I would imagine you keep CPR going at all times. I'm certainly not a medical professional, but I do know that like if your heart stops, you're dead. So you got to keep the heart going. And them not having the ambulance on standby.
I'm not standing up for him. I don't know if you would do CPR.
What would be the point of, if your heart's not going, your heart's not going. And I'm not even saying, and by the way, I'm not even saying that what was right or what was wrong to do.
You're saying the stories are
I'm saying the stories are not consistent. And that's what has been so troublesome for people that are investigating this. It's why do you guys all have different stories? Why are there so many lies that have since been unpacked? And initially they said a lot in the beginning, and they've since, pivoted on their stories quite a bit.
Why do you think that they repaved that thing? How many days afterwards?
Because by Sunday, they had the person coming on a Sunday. So Charlie got shot at 12:23 on a Wednesday, and they had early morning on Sunday pavers come in. And even before then, they had the soil removed by a separate group of people.
They had the soil removed?
The soil removed first. 10 inches of soil removed first.
Do they do that at any other murder scene? Anywhere?
Absolutely not.
The soil removed? Why the fuck would they have the soil?
Well, their excuse is we were putting down pavers. So it is normal to remove soil to put down pavers. But why were you putting down pavers? Why were you paving over the crime scene? And in that scenario, I think you normally do from somebody that is in that space said that about 8 inches you would remove so that you can install the pavers. They removed 10 inches of soil, and they had 2 separate people do it. So they had people working for the government that removed the 10 inches of soil. And then the next day, the pavers came in and put in the pavers. That's not normal. You have the same group of people that do both. So they had the dirt removed first. And so we'd have to imagine that happened Saturday at the latest, right? And because then by Sunday morning, the guy who had to put together a ragtag team to do the paving, he did an interview and spoke about it and said he was told that the instructions were coming down from the governor of Utah and Kash Patel's office. Probably a good guy to put on the soil. I've taken a long time to get to a place where I wanted to put forth a theory on what happened that day. I think there is a lot of evidence that they would have found explosives, which if I guess the way PETN is said is like, what do you guys say? Petin. I'm trying to learn all of the inside terms and sound like I know what I'm talking about on all the military guy stuff. But if
Blake Betnars, thank you for supporting the channel, man. Candace is a Fed, obviously. Why do you feel the way you feel? Definitely not. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would love to hear why you feel the way you feel. But appreciate you for supporting the channel.
If Petin was the explosive that was used, and I think there is a strong theory that should be explored, that a shaped charge was used to kill him, and that what killed him was on him. If you look into Petin, it is pretty resistant.
Yeah, the whole episode drop is on Patreon. I can't stand saying that word. I feel like I say it wrong every time.
And it stays on soil. There you can read tons of articles about it. You just have to remove the soil.
So you think that
I think there was explosives. I think that explains, as I was unpacking on my show, a lot of the holes in the story that didn't make sense. If you run the theory that he was killed with a patent-shaped charge, then they all suddenly start to make sense. Why they wouldn't bring the bomb dogs over to where Charlie died.
See, I can't remember what this guy his name is, but my editor, you were just chatting with him. He brought it to my attention. He was chatting with this guy right after it happened. So I guess almost a year ago. And once I just never know so many fucking people are trying to get clicks and shit. You know what I mean? That I'm like, I don't think it adds up. And he would describe, how it was going to work or how it was supposedly worked. And yeah, it was shaped charge inside the microphone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they had all these videos that show the blast and everything, but I don't know what's AI and what isn't. I don't fucking believe anything unless it's literally right in front of my face. Then
that is a fact. AI has gotten so crazy. Like it is, I don't know, man. It's just a totally different world that we live in. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I think we can now officially say, back in the day when I used to Google things, it was just totally different. Now you just chat GPT it and it just pop up in 3 seconds with every single source all in one page right in front of you. And it just generates so fast. And it's just crazy. Like I remember when I was literally talking to chat GPT about like boy names, like for my second son. I was literally like, oh, how does this sound? How does this sound with his brother whose name this? And it was like, yeah, like it's crazy, bro. It's AI is absolutely wild. Josiah, thank you for supporting the channel. Angela, thank you for supporting the channel. Looking sharp with the hair. Love the yappers. I appreciate it. Every now and then, I got to take the do-rag off because a lot of people swear up and down I am bald. I'm hiding something. Why do I always got a hat or a do-rag on? All that other stuff. I'm not a hat fish or a do-rag fish. I told y'all I just like wearing my do-rag because I'm about to go to sleep. As soon as I get off the live, or if I like make TikToks and stuff, I got a do-rag on. It's probably because I'm at the house chilling. I take my do-rag off when I got to go to a public place that requires me to look more professional or like, what I mean? More, I guess, I don't know, not in my PJs, but if I'm at the crib, yes, I got my do-rag on. So, yeah, get your looks because the do-rag is coming back on for the next 30 days.
I still don't believe most of it, but to have the thing that really got me was to have a microphone on a loose shirt when he's up in a chair, like moving around. It just
mic on the inside, by the way.
Mic on the inside?
Yeah, the mic is on the microphone, which is totally senseless.
Wait, was it taped to his chest?
What you see on the outside is the magnet that's holding the mic that's on the inside. Which, like any person who mics you knows, you don't put the mic on the inside because you get the sound, and they were putting it on the inside. Like you might do that if it's a super windy day or cold day to avoid the wind.
I thought it was that fucking new DJI mic.
Oh, hold on, that's new information.
No, it's a Rode mic, a Rode Mic Pro.
Don't freeze on me now.
To his chest.
What you see on the outside is the magnet that's holding the mic that's on the inside. Which, like any person who mics you knows, you don't put the mic on the inside because you get the sound, and they were putting it on the inside. Like you might do that if it's a super windy day or cold day.
Okay, so that's actually something that I did not know because I was wondering how the mic shattered, if this was it, because like you can see the slow motion, right? And after the bang or the pop, this thing stays there. So I was thinking that the mic was on the outside, which would be kind of tough to, support the theory that the mic exploded because you can see it. But Candace is saying the mic itself was on the inside, and the top that was outside of the shirt showing was the magnet. Now that is interesting because now I can see how the inside mic can explode. or it could be the one that Baron was talking about that was on his side right here. I don't know. I've never seen anybody wear like the transmitter on their side, like maybe their waist. So I don't know. I don't know. But the mic being on the inside does make it make a little bit more sense. I can see that a little bit more than like the transmitter under Charlie's boob or whatever Baron said. I don't know. I don't know.
To
Dang, I
avoid
thought
the
it was
wind.
that fucking new DJI mic that everybody's using.
No, it's a Rode Mic Pro. So that's just the metal. That's just the magnetic clasp that's on the
They
outside.
put it on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Which they started doing. It was a new thing. It was just a new thing that they were doing. And so
how long have you been tracking this?
How long had I been tracking?
Microphone thing.
I always try to approach things with just what do I observe with my own eyes? And when I brought myself to being able to watch the footage of Charlie dying, the first thing I thought was that he was shot from below, because I watched his shirt go out, and I watched the friction of his body, and I saw that his necklace broke before he was hit. I always thought that was so strange. I was like, somebody explain to me why, if someone shot him from above, his necklace would break first and whip this way, because necklace whips this way, and then he gets hit, and then
it is behind a paywall, but I paid it. I paid it for you, so enjoy. And yes, the Leah Files did an amazing job with following the money on this already. She has been did that. So shout out to Leah. She is still working on getting her on the show. She's a very busy lady, but it will happen very soon, because she definitely has done crazy amount of work, and she deserves to have a platform to showcase her talent. So still working on it.
It's like, so I just, in my head, and I was assuming that it was a gun, was like, I think someone was under him. Like, that's the only thing that would explain his shirt doing whatever. And then I saw John Bray, who you're referring to. He was online and he was talking about this explosive. And I saw that, and I was like, in my head, with my limited knowledge on what he was speaking about, I went, oh, well, it's not going to be explosive, because then if it was a bomb, Charlie would have been burned and charred. And I knew that his body was not burned and charred. And so I kept following him. And what happened was, we got exclusively the car photos, and the car that transported Charlie to the hospital.
Does anybody know? I think I might have asked this before, but I just blanked out. Does anybody know why Candace Owens doesn't mention Stu Peters? Because I know Stu Peters, he's been tweeting a few times like, I was the first one to break the story. Here it is right here, September 24th. So I don't know. Some people probably know more than me when it comes to all of that. But I just wonder, because John Bray obviously has done a lot, so I'm not taking that away from him. But I just want to know, why is Stu over here doing what he doing, trying to get everybody to see that he broke the news first? So I don't know. Maybe somebody knows the answer to that, on why Candace doesn't ever say anything about Stu. Do they have some type of beef or something?
Hospital, what that car looked like, which they tried very quickly to get rid of that car. They towed it, had it sent for to be cleaned and resold, which is also an absolute nonsense. That car would have been put into evidence. But when I saw the car pics, first thing I said was, oh, that's so weird. Like, well, why is there black glass on the floor? Like, right away, just like a ton of like black, what looked to my eye as glass shards on the floor. And John Bray messaged me, and he said on X, he said, I just watched your episode. That's exactly what I was looking for to support my theory. And then I said, what do you mean? He said, I've been saying that his road mic was rigged, but in order for my theory to be true, the road mic would have had to explode into a million pieces, and that would have been on Charlie, and they would have had to get that off of him in the car. And so I went, well, I have the car photos, and there's very clearly, now, to play devil's advocate, as I always try to do, it could have been somebody's sunglasses they stepped on that broke into a million. It's a lot of glass. It's in the seat that Charlie was on. It's behind. Hard plastic, 80, I think it's called ABS plastic. And if you watch videos, people just smashing a road mic, that's exactly what it looks like, is littered all over the floor. So now we have to say, why did his necklace break first, then his road mic break second? And we're looking at a trajectory, right? Before he gets hit. And you do see it move across. Like if you watch the video again, without trying to be an expert, if you just sometimes look at a video and say, what do you see? Slow it down. What do you observe happening? And that is what you observe. You observe something moving across his chest, and then suddenly you see a wound here. And that was my starting point. And so I never bought the idea that he was on.
Definitely don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you so much, Angela, for reminding me and reminding everyone to do that. Don't forget to hit it. Push it through the algorithm so that way we can grow the community. Continue to watch this beautiful interview so far together. This is on the Shawn Ryan Patreon, Shawn Ryan podcast. He's interviewing Candace Owens. This is new. This just came out today, a couple of hours ago. It's 4 hours long. I will not be watching all 4 hours tonight, but I will be watching as much as we can until I get sleepy. I'm not there yet, so we got some time to go. But that's what this is. And then, yes, it is behind a paywall, but I already paid for it. It is the entire video, the entire interview. So just sit back and enjoy.
Somebody shot him from a lousy rooftop. That made no sense to me. That nobody saw him shoot him is even crazier to me. This is a college campus in the middle of the day. My
bad. Somebody answered my question. Stu brought John Bray on, but he was speaking to John Bray behind the scenes before he brought him on his show to explain. Stu is also fairly more reckless with his opinions, tying herself to him as easy grounds for more defamation suits. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
They would have seen him take a shot. And so then what added to me thinking this is now very plausible was the 30-06 super neck.
Come on, Shawn.
Superman neck,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Now you're asking us to be idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Now the demand is for us to be idiots. And they did it in such an emotionally manipulative, despicable way, which has now become the turning point way, which is to just say God, the Lord, the miracle, and if you don't believe in it, then you don't believe in God, and you're not honoring God if you don't believe in the miracle of this. This was the biggest lie that Erica told me and completely transformed my opinion of her. I think, I sat down with her for 4 hours. I was reticent to explore any conspiracies about her. I was slow to do it because, first and foremost, she's the mother of Charlie's kids. That's first and foremost. Secondly, it required me to have to go through a second stage of grief that I was not ready to do. I had a very hard time with Charlie's death, still do. But to be the person that Charlie was speaking to so much about how much he wanted love, to when I had to take time off and just go to Wyoming and try to get my head right after it, I read through all of our messages, and so I relived it all. And because I was in a phase of denial. I was really at that phase where I was hoping, and I went through bargaining, I went through anger, I went through a very aggressive stage of denial. And I think my husband was realizing that I needed to get away at that point because I was trying to say, like, no, maybe he's really alive. Like, maybe they put him in witness protection. Like, that's that bargaining.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the denial. That's just in my face. And when I got out there and I was reading the messages, and before she came into his life, and Charlie just really, really, really wanted love, right? That was like it. And it was almost like poetic, the stuff that he was writing about how love could kind of make men move mountains. And so for me to have to mourn him and then have to consider that the thing that he wanted most, like, he didn't get, it just gutted me. It gutted me. And so, but I couldn't deny it anymore. I couldn't deny it. And it was beyond intuition. It was beyond her being weird. It was beyond.
That's actually crazy. This is the first time I'm hearing her voice like this shaky. She's been very strong throughout this entire investigation on her podcast. And we've all had, we've all seen several episodes of her. You can tell that it was very heavy, and you can just tell like the vibe was heavy, and she was definitely pushing through it. But we never heard her have like a shaky voice. Her voice is very shaky right now, very emotional, and you can tell that this is hitting her. This is tough.
Her being at the office, and then I got the Zoom calls. My assumption was that she was grieving like I was, and my assumption, I didn't know she was in the office the next week. As soon as she got back, she just went straight to the office. And
she was in the office the next week.
Yep. As soon as she gave that speech at the podium that you saw, where she addressed the nation, not the I forgive him speech, but like the first one that was like 48 hours after he died, she was in the office that whole week.
Dude, I'll be honest. When I saw the funeral.
Is that what we're calling it?
Like posting Instagram stories or whatever it was of her like rubbing his.
Man, I know Candace loves to put on as like the extremely tough, woman. And that's also probably where she came from as well, like her upbringing and stuff like that. So I can only imagine how many episodes has she been going at it for months since September? And not one time has she ever truly like broke down, on camera. So I could just only imagine like the mental capacity and how strong she is, and being able to talk about all of this stuff, and not once has she ever cried on camera. So like seeing her have these raw emotions right now is like kind of surreal and crazy. Maybe not like surreal, but it is crazy to see, because I've just, not that I was like, oh, she's faking it, all that. We all knew that she deeply cared about Charlie, but it's just hitting more home and realizing like, the time that she said she took away in Wyoming and how hurt she was, like you kind of starting to see it and how this has affected her, and how, she was in denial, that she didn't want to believe that it was Erica this whole time. It took her months before she finally agreed with all of us and was like, bro, this woman is shady. And she probably was in denial for months, didn't want to believe that it was actually her. And then when she came to terms that she was going to go at her, it probably did not feel good. So, I feel for her right now. That's very tough.
Dead body. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? Yeah. What is that?
Yep. And then,
oh yeah, I forgot she is pregnant right now. So that is another thing too. Emotions are high.
Using your dead husband as a fucking social media post.
And beyond that, and again, me ignoring all of it. And then it was just, actually, on the day that your husband gets shot, you didn't have a single one of your family members go with you. Not one family member or friend went with Erica to Utah.
Wow.
She went with the person that's holding her in the photo when his body's coming off Air Force One. Could you imagine not having your mom, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your best friend, I don't know, like your A1 since day one from high school with you when that goes down? No, she was every single one of those videos, she's with the head fundraiser of Turning Point USA. The person holding her, hugging her, crying, that's Stacey Sheridan. She's a chief fundraiser. Stacey Sheridan is the one recording her while she's in the casket. No one can make that make sense. You cannot tell me 1,000 times that you would not have a family member, a cousin, a brother, somebody other than just all Turning Point people. And mind you, the vice president is offering to fly over whoever you want. So this isn't like, oh, we couldn't get to Utah. Like your family will crawl over glass to get to you. You go through something like that. Mm-hmm. And she didn't have anybody, not her aunts, nobody, just Stacey Sheridan recording all of those private moments. And again, those were the things, I think I just assumed that her family was there. I assumed because Charlie's family was there. His sister was there. His mother was there. His brother was there. His mother and father were there. She just had Mama Stacey, as I call it, which is the woman who's all about raising money. And when did you guys get so close? You don't need anybody else for emotional support here. And so you're correct. That was intentionally recorded for us to raise money at the end of the day. But the lie that she told that I couldn't get over was when she lied about
for real
the 30-06. And
What did she lie about that? What did she say?
So what we thought happened, and this is, I think I single-handedly ruined the plan, so to speak. But what happened was my eyes when I was watching the event, as someone who had gone on tour with Charlie every single year since 2018, 2017, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, up until 2024, which is the first time they started doing this double mic thing on him, right? The fall of 2024, as I'm going, why is Terrell there? It's the first thing I drew my eye. It was like, why is the head of audiovisual here? He doesn't come on campus events. This is new. And then I see that he's taking the camera down. And I'm like, that's weird. And the internet's going crazy about this. So I'm like, well, Terrell's been there for 12 years, maybe longer. I know. I'm just going to call him and ask him what's up. Like, maybe there's a reason. Maybe. And I assumed he was going to say something like, you know, the police asked me to. I don't know. You want to see the footage? Instead, he was the first person that made me realize something was very wrong, because he was very nervous on the phone. I asked him if I could see the back footage just to like clarify with people, like, looking out for you, Terrell. I can tell them what's going on. And his energy was just completely wrong. He came up with a million excuses why I couldn't see the back footage. He told me he didn't know how to send a file. I'm like, Terrell, you run an audiovisual company. You know how to send a file. Then he told me, oh yeah, I do know how to send a file, but I really didn't. I'm afraid Google's going to hack me if I send it. And I said, Google's going to hack you if you send me the file of the back footage. And I didn't accept that, obviously. And then he said, well, I grabbed the camera for Erica so that she wouldn't have to relive her husband dying over and over again. And I said, his death was live streamed. Everyone saw Charlie die.
Mm-hmm.
The back footage is not like, that's not going to be anything. So I knew something was wrong with the back footage. And I kept pressing him for 2 days. And finally he said, well, I'll FaceTime you and show you it. And I hit record on the face. I just didn't know, but just my instincts. And someone on my team was like, you should record this. And I recorded it. And the first thing I thought that was so strange was there was no blood.
You might as well come on here.
The bullet didn't go through. There was no blood. Charlie's shirt was crisp white from the moment he went down. And I went, that's odd. So I, at that moment, recorded it, had it, hung up with him, told my audience what I saw. And there was apparently mass panic, which I now know how the full story went. This was the day of Charlie's actual funeral, not the WWE memorial event, but the actual funeral, which was the night before. And they panicked that I had seen the footage. And somebody at the FBI called Turning Point and asked explicitly to Justin Strife whether or not I had recorded it. At that point, Justin Strife, who is the COO of Turning Point USA, messaged my husband, called my husband, and wanted to know whether or not I had recorded it. And my husband has no idea what he's talking about. He's like, he runs the business. He's like, I don't know.
It's probably somebody else, but it'd be crazy if it was Dan Bongino, because Dan Bongino was, he was around during this time.
Talking about, he then comes out to me. He's like, Justin Strife keeps asking if he recorded this footage. What's he talking about? And instantly in my mind, I said, that's a really weird question. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if I recorded the footage? And I said, don't answer him. I'll deal with it. And then what happened, this is all happening on the day of Charlie's actual funeral. No one should be caring about back footage, anything. Why is the FBI calling? What then happened was Erica peeled off from Charlie's actual funeral, his wife, and she called the surgeon with Andrew Colvett on the phone, a 3-way call. And the story that Andrew would then write, because then he tweeted on the day of Charlie's funeral and said, people want to know why there was, no blood. And then the surgeon says that it was a miracle. And you remember this ridiculous tweet, Charlie ate really healthy. And normally it would have taken down a moose, but he really was the man of steel. And this is like a modern day Christian miracle. I mean, total slop for the masses. And everyone then went, what the F? It didn't go through. Like, you're confirming this didn't go through. Something's wrong here, right? When I asked Erica about this, and I didn't know about this thing that happened at the funeral, I asked her, why did Andrew send this tweet? And she said to me, he went rogue. I didn't know he sent the tweet. I said, Andrew went rogue, and she said, called the surgeon. I said, the surgeon spoke to Andrew without your permission? And she said, yeah. I said, so the surgeon to the highest profile assassination since JFK violated HIPAA, went rogue, spoke to some random PR guy he doesn't know who also went rogue. And then at the conclusion of this conversation, Andrew tweeted something without your permission and went rogue again. And she said, yeah. And then I got the information that she completely lied.
How'd you figure that out?
A source. That she was the one who initiated the phone call and Andrew was on it, and that the surgeon never said that, what was put on online. In fact, that's largely embarrassing to a surgeon because you're saying he violated HIPAA, right? And he's an idiot. Like, he's an idiot. Like, it's a modern day miracle. Not only that, but it's not the surgeon's job. So what happened was she said to the surgeon, allegedly, how can we explain to people that the 30-06 didn't go through?
Right, because it'd be the medical examiner to look at all of that and examine. I am 56 minutes and 30 seconds into the interview.
And the surgeon doesn't know anything about whether 30-06. He is a hunter. He hunts. And he said, I don't know. Like, maybe it was a frangible bullet or something. I have no idea. And he's going off of them saying it was a 30-06. And at that point, Erica offered an explanation. And she said, well, my baby, he ate so healthy. And I'm sure it's like he had a man of steel neck because he ate so healthy.
So wasn't there a picture of Robinson standing at a Dairy Queen right in front of a poster that said man of steel?
Yeah, which actually was in theaters. And so that was like weird. But Erica is that quotation and that explanation came from Erica as she was trying to pull an excuse out of the surgeon, which somehow got elevated to the number one priority on the day of her husband's actual funeral. They were stressed out that the public had learned that the bullet didn't go through. Why would you be stressed out about that?
I would be mourning my wife or who my significant other.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
trying.
So
to
what do you think is going on? I mean, who is Tyler Robinson? What the fuck was he doing there? Who do you think is behind this?
I don't.
Do you think
Tyler Robinson was there?
You don't think he was there?
No. I think he's a total patsy. I think they get lookalikes and they get everybody wearing the same outfit. I think he played a role, and I believe that what he did was he picked up clothes and he dumped them behind the Dairy Queen. I think he had a role, but I do not believe that Tyler Robinson is the person who was walking in that staircase. I do not believe the person walking in the staircase was even the person that we saw running off of the roof. I don't even know what day that person was running off the roof because there's only one eyewitness to him having been on the roof, and the person who says that he saw him crouching low, the person that shared the video of the guy on the roof and was like, look up here. Somebody just got up there. I spoke to that individual, and he never saw a shot fired. Never said that he saw a shot fired, knows about weapons, and finds it really unusual that the prosecution hasn't reached out to him. So I don't know what happened. I just know what didn't happen. And I feel confident stating that Tyler Robinson did not murder Charlie Kirk, whether or not he was an accessory to the crime. Do I believe he was at Dairy Queen dropping off clothes? Yeah. How did he get mixed up in that? I don't know. Maybe he was blackmailed. Maybe he got involved in some weird stuff online. That's the easiest way for the feds to blackmail someone. I think his roommate is a federal asset, Lance Twiggs. The person.
Why do you think that?
Because the police didn't even question him, which is bonkers. Yeah, Lance Twiggs. I spoke to Lance Twiggs, his family, and they think he's involved. And they don't understand why the police just sat him down for a few hours and then let him go. And they said he's involved in a lot of bad stuff. He lived with them for a little bit, that he's into, weird categories of pornography as well. And so they were shocked that the police just had never had any interest in Lance Twiggs. And he is crucial to the story that they're trying to tell as the roommate. if you're dating, if they're in a gay relationship and you're dating him, you would have access to his guns. You would have access to, you could easily set up somebody that you're dating. And that's what my gut tells me is Lance Twiggs was a federal asset, is a federal asset.
Shit. Who was the guy? Wasn't there a guy that said he did it? That was also at 9/11 or something?
Oh, I call him decoy boy number one, George Zinn.
What the fuck is that?
So George Zinn instantly gets up, says he did it. His pants fall and people are recording him, and it creates, I guess, just a bit of a distraction. What I have on authority from the hospital that he went to after he went to the hospital to get treated for some mild injuries is that he told the nurses that he was paid to do it, but he didn't know where the money was coming from.
And this guy was also in New York when 9/11 happened.
I don't know if he was in New York.
Public information that nobody cares about. The man is literally saying, I was told to do that. I was told that I was going to get paid for it, but I don't know where the money was going to come from. And that just got swept under the rug. It's crazy.
But he has some story about 9/11.
There's some weird connection.
Some very weird connection. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is. I can't remember, but
no, you're correct. But that's what he told the nurses that day, that he was paid to do that. But he didn't know who exactly was paying him, just that he was going to be paid for that.
Do you think he was killed because he was going against Israel?
1,000%.
Why him?
1,000%.
Lots. You go against Israel. Why not you?
Well,
why are you still here?
I think if Andrew Colbert is to be believed, he told me it was supposed to be me, which was an interesting thing to say.
What?
Andrew Colbert said to me a few days after the assassination, and at the moment I just took it as poorly expressed grief, because I didn't find Andrew to be suspicious because I just didn't, my mind wasn't there. But he said to me on the phone, it was supposed to be you, verbatim.
Are you serious?
But I thought that was just.
Hold on. I want to see if I can't sit down forever. Can I stand up? It might be possible. If things start falling, you know why. I'm about to attempt to raise my desk, but I don't know what's connected to the ground.
He was crying. I was crying. I thought
he legitimately said it was supposed to be you.
It was supposed to be you. So I have questions about that now. Given everything that happened in the lead up to that, I think Charlie knew something. I think the biggest question that has not been answered in all of this is what happened at the Hamptons when Bibi Netanyahu called.
I don't know about this.
So it was.
Let me try to stand up my desk.
A couple of weeks before Charlie died, well, August 5th and 6th, he did a summit at Bill Ackman's house where, Bill Ackman was kind of hosting a bunch of pro-Israel people. And Charlie was pressed on his changing views. And he was pressed by Seth Dillon. Voices were raised. And he wanted to know why he's not, why you can't criticize Bibi Netanyahu and not be called anti-Semitic. There was a smaller dinner that took place, and Bill Ackman, Erica was present, and Bibi Netanyahu called. Now, what I was told directly from Andrew Colbert, which Erica didn't know that my source was Andrew Colbert on this. She was surprised in person when I told her this, was that Bibi offered to take Turning Point USA to the next level. And Charlie said no. In exchange for what? Also, how does an organization that's pulling in $150 million a year, what is the next level? It's a lot of money, $100 million a year. In exchange for what? Do you think in exchange for him pledging to preach free markets and capitalism? So at the moment that you refuse an offer from a man that deranged, that psychopathic, that bloodthirsty,
that much power.
You know something. He
obviously has
it's an exchange for
enormous amount of influence over the current administration.
Correct.
I mean, enormous amount of influence. It's pretty fucking obvious. I think everybody's seeing it.
In exchange for what? I'll take your company to the next level. Cool. What in exchange for what? I think it's a $1 trillion question. And Erica, when I asked her about that, and she admitted the Bibi Netanyahu call happened, that she was there, and she said, "Oh, he was just calling because Charlie had written him a letter in May." And it's just so stupid. So stupid. Oh, he's not busy. He just was calling to say, "Hey, Toodles, like, just wanted to know how you're doing. I saw your letter. Thanks for it." And he was just, I said, "That's it." Okay. So I'm supposed to believe Andrew lied about that he offered to take it to the next level. And she was coming to say, no, that didn't happen. He just wanted to just check in with Charlie. That's not true. She's lying. And I know she's lying because then somebody in Andrew Colbett's family orbit reached out to me and said that definitively happened because Andrew said that when Charlie said no, he lost millions. Andrew Colbett lost millions when Charlie said no. And you wonder, how does a PR guy lose millions? He's a spokesperson for Turning Point USA. And then I had to remind myself that he owns a piece of the Charlie Kirk show, right? So I don't know if it was going to be.
And don't forget that one video from Anna Escobar that we talked about on the Daily Yap a couple of nights ago. It might have been the last episode, but pretty much alleging that the Adelson family was involved in Turning Point in this whole thing. So it's a possibility, a high possibility that the Adelson family is who was going to fund the taking Turning Point to the next level and not just directly coming from Bibi Netanyahu. And so that's very interesting because then, the Adelson family is also connected to Butler. So it's like, and it's similar, right? They gave Trump $100 million and Trump said, I'm a F her and, take her money or something like that. So now it's starting to make a little sense if that is who was kind of funding the, at least the proposal to Charlie Kirk. So, I mean, this is crazy how everybody's connected.
Via the Charlie Kirk show, which was at that moment with Salem. Salem has recently filed, under FARA. They're working with that Faith by Works and the whole thing, and Salem is a part of that filing. So they are effectively foreign agents. I don't know how that money was going to come in. That's another question that if we had any real journalists, they would be exploring that. But Bibi Netanyahu calling and Charlie not just refusing it, but he had.
Yes. Andrew Colbett used to work for the Adelson family as well. Everybody is connected. And when Trump said, I'm going to take her money and F her over, I mean, it's hard to believe Trump didn't know Andrew Colbett used to work for the Adelson family. Maybe he didn't. I've said plenty of times that Andrew Colbett is like the true snake. He was like tied to these people heavy. Like, it's just crazy that he used to work for the Adelson family. That is a crazy thing to have on your resume.
Anger towards Bibi. He did. And how do you know? Because Bibi Netanyahu that month did a ton of shows. Very strange, by the way, that a prime minister of Israel was suddenly hitting the orbit, doing PR. He did a ton of shows. I mean, Patrick Bet-David's show, Brandon Tatum's show, and he hadn't before that done any sort of podcasting since he was like hawking his book, like years ago. He didn't do Charlie Kirk's show because Charlie didn't want to have him on. Again, something told to me as a fact by Andrew Colbett. Charlie refused to have Bibi Netanyahu on a show. So if you want to know how Charlie was feeling about Israel and Bibi Netanyahu, there's your answer.
Ooh, Mexico won the game tonight. That's crazy.
How people couldn't see the Israel threat in this doesn't make any sense to me.
I can't believe he said it was supposed to be you.
He did.
Does that scare you?
I mean,
you seem fearless.
We're all here for a blip. And I think it's not about not having any fears. It's about what scares me more, right? What scares me more is considering the world that our children will inherit if we stay quiet.
Half of the game was great.
Because we feel it right now. We feel the squeeze. We feel the evil. We feel the cloud. It's there. And you have a bunch of people who, whether it's for money or for fear, are allowing it to happen. And there are so many historical lessons about what can happen to a country when good men do nothing. And so what scares me is thinking about what's going to be like in America when.
I know we got a lot of people new to the chat. No, this is not an old video. This is new. This just came out. This is Shawn Ryan and Candace Owens on the Shawn Ryan show. He just dropped it at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's 4 hours long. I will not be watching the entire 4 hours tonight. So I apologize in advance, but we're still good right now. I'm just watching until I get tired, and I'm not there yet. I stood up to get me another 30 minutes or so. So it's a 4 hour podcast, 4 hours and a half. We are at the hour and 8 minute mark and 27 seconds. So we getting through it. But yes, for anybody that is new, that's what's going on. Shawn Ryan, Candace Owens just dropped. My dog's tripping. And yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys hit the sub button as well if you're new to the channel.
My children are my age because I was too scared to say something.
And yes, this is on Patreon. You have to pay for it. It's like $5. I already paid for it. So here we are enjoying it. If you do want to pay for it, you definitely can. Just go to the Patreon app, go to the Shawn Ryan thing, and you'll be able to see it there and watch it all and then cancel your membership after that.
Thing when Charlie Kirk was publicly assassinated and the most powerful people in the country colluded to lie about it. If Charlie Kirk was not safe in the United States of America, nobody is. Nobody is.
Do you feel this is?
I will say this though. Oh, what happened to my camera? Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe let me not say anything and just fix the camera.
Your responsibility
to figure out what happened and to keep the investigation going. I don't know if it's like I don't know if responsibility would be the word that I would use. I just know that it's a part of my journey. I know that it's not a coincidence that Charlie kept telling me he was going to die young, that he had really, really deep visions about his death in 2018, very specific visions about the fact that he was going to die young, and that he knew that I would be the one to fight. You know, there are things that we don't understand. We're not meant to understand them, right? But there is something that is moving me that feels bigger than me. I know it matters. And when I read back those conversations and think about how I was like, you need to get some sleep. You're probably just tired. No, you're not going to die young. You know, my death is going to be tied to Turning Point USA. From the moment I signed on the dotted line, he said he has the dream. He had the dreams repeatedly.
What were the dreams?
That he was going to die young. That he was going to die in a very tragic way. And that his death would be tied to like saving the world, waking up the world about something. And at the time,
devil's advocate. Just a theory. Can't confirm, obviously. Just different perspective. Charlie was waking up towards the end before he died, right? That's what everybody says. That's what I say. I also have a perspective of like, did Charlie wake up or did they just stop paying him to push the propaganda? Because he was pushing that propaganda for years, for a very long time. And then when they started stripping money, yes, he doubled down by inviting Tucker back and saying, I'm gonna invite Candace back. So he doubled down once they started taking money and was like, you know what, bump it. Since I'm done, I'm done. Like, let's go. However, it's a difference, right? It's a difference between turning your back and changing your perspectives and views on Izzy because you morally had like some type of conviction that you were just so upset that you were lying to your audience for all of these years and pushing propaganda for all of these years and all of that. So it's difference between that versus, you know, I'm changing my perspective and views only because they started taking money from me. So there's like two different things.
What do you say with that, right? It'd be weird if I was like, okay, sure, give me a plan. What would you like me to do when you die young? Like, what was I going to say? When I read it back, it's haunting. It haunts me. And it haunts me because now in the way that he was dreaming in 2018, I have had the most vivid dreams since he's died. And I don't discount them. I know there is just something spiritually pulling me and guiding me in ways that I don't really understand. And so I just give into that. It's like he went out and something awakened in me.
I mean, when you're talking about evil prevails when good men do nothing, do you think that, I think about this all the time too. It's one of my favorite quotes. I feel part of me feels like it's a responsibility to do what I do, just like you do, I think. But how much impact do you think you can really make?
You know, I try not to stop and measure my impact. I know that every day when I wake up and when I decide what I want to cover, I am doing it out of a unique passion. I care.
Mm-hmm.
And something is motivating me that's real. And I think people respond to that. And it's made a difference. Charlie is trending every day. He's trending every day. And that's not what they wanted. They wanted everyone to stop talking about him the moment Erica and Trump hugged on stage at the memorial. And she said, I forgive him. That was supposed to be the end.
That was so weird, too.
It was weird.
Kyle, thank you for the donation and supporting the channel. Keep up the grind. Much love to the yappers. Thank you for supporting. Kyle, again, thank you for supporting, bro. Day one here when you only did TikTok. I appreciate it, man, for real.
Everything was weird. Everything has been strange. Most of all, his wife. And watching there's this almost subhuman answer that they are trying to provide, which is, well, we have money. We have power. So just get in line. Like that's gonna be the cure here for all the skepticism, is just to apply more money, more influencers, more attacks on the people who are looking into it. I mean, Turning Point USA attacking Joe Kent. I mean, it's just we're trying to investigate whether there could have been any foreign ties. Think about how bizarre that is.
Oh, I know.
And what's more bizarre is that they don't recognize it as bizarre when they do it. What's wrong with these people? The social IQ there is something that disturbs me. Their inability to understand that what they're doing is going to register to the public as remarkably suspicious. Case in point, did no one tell you that you shouldn't be on a Zoom call laughing about emojis 6 days after your husband got killed? Does someone have to tell you that? What has been rinsed out of you that you don't recognize that there's something deeply wrong with that? To get onto a Zoom call 11 days after he's been assassinated and say, we're moving on with Turning Point 2.0. My husband is dead, not to be morbid, but he's dead. That's acceptance.
Do you think that she had something to do with it? She was complicit? Or we were talking about this earlier. I came here from Boca Raton, Florida. It's the shallowest fucking place on the planet. You see 19-year-old girls with 76-year-old men every single day playing tonsil hockey and more, and that's just what that place is. Do you think that maybe when they met, she was, she just saw a paycheck and she's a narcissist and had no feelings, no love, no nothing for him, just wanted to marry into a guy who's making $150 million a year?
Even if everything you just said was true, she was motivated by money to marry him. She didn't actually love him. Let's even add that she hated him secretly, right? When someone dies like that, you still have a human reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So who would you say is his arch nemesis? Nick Fuentes? Okay.
Mm.
He delivered a more impassioned response to what happened to Charlie than Charlie's wife did. Even your worst enemy. That's what I'm saying. Like, remove all that. Even if it's your worst enemy in life,
mm-hmm.
when someone dies like that, it stirs you because you're like, okay, I didn't like this guy, but like, man, I didn't want him to die like that. That's not how I wanted. I wanted to, debate him.
Mm-hmm.
I was having fun hating him, whatever it is. That we couldn't get that from his wife. And when I go back, because I think I did suffer, my sister said to me, right away, she came down, I couldn't eat. And she said to me, Candace, you need to recognize that to watch somebody that die like that, it's like a brain trauma. Like my brain was like trying, and I'm sure you understand this because military guys deal with death, I think, a lot more than we do, a traumatic death like this, but it's like a brain trauma is the only way you can describe it. And so I was not even paying attention to certain things that I now see with very clear eyes, like her speech, like you said, at the memorial. Erica actually doesn't really tell you anything about Charlie in that speech. It's a speech that's laying the groundwork for Turning Point 2.0. She tells you, every time she speaks about Charlie, she actually tells you about how great she is, how much he loved her, how he wrote her notes, how he wanted her to take over Turning Point USA. And she didn't write the speech. I learned that because they fired a bunch of people, that she didn't write the speech. Erica doesn't write her own speeches. The idea of not writing the eulogy, and that's why we don't learn anything about him, that we couldn't find on Wikipedia. There was no
substance.
There was no substance. Who was Charlie outside of Turning Point USA? You can't find out in that speech. All Charlie wanted was Turning Point USA 2.0. Turning Point. He cared about the students. He cared about looking after men like Tyler Robinson. I forgive him. This is what Turning Point's all about. Turning Point. How many times they say Turning Point? I mean,
even in that video 2 days after he died, when she was in the thing and caressing the chair, like they was promoting Turning Point USA then. Go open up a chapter. Become a donor. Like, it was all crazy. I don't know if she said become a donor, but she did say go open a chapter and all types of stuff. 2 days. And then that's when she told everybody how great they were. The great whatever JD Vance's wife name is, Usha and JD Vance were so great. Mikey was so amazing. I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. Whether you're amazing or not, nobody getting a compliment 2 days after I just saw that and witnessed that and going through that, right? My husband just died 2 days ago in the worst way. Nobody's amazing right now. None of y'all. The last thing I'm finna do is get up here and just compliment everybody on how great they are.
Not her podium speech, and I felt weird about it the first time when the 48 hours afterwards, she said, you want to help, here's what you can do. Go to turningpointusa.com. Out of nowhere, an ad read. The first time she addresses the nation, go to turningpointusa.com.
Holy shit.
I can't even stomach the idea of being able to say something like that. But her whole idea was this is what he wanted. He wanted your money to go to Turning Point USA. And then you can contrast it with Vanessa's speech, Vanessa Bryant's speech.
Yep.
And you see what a grieving widow looks like. And you listen to the story she told. I rewatched her speech. And I couldn't get through it because I loved Kobe. I loved Kobe Bryant. And I loved Kobe on the court. He was amazing at what he did. But how weird if she had given a speech of he dribbled every single day. And what he loved was the Lakers. And if you want to support the Lakers and support no, she said,
facts.
We didn't even know Kobe. By the time you get through her speech, you realize you didn't know Kobe. I loved Kobe, who he was in the court. This is her husband, and she knew Kobe, and she shared that with us in her eulogy, Vanessa Bryant, like who he was as a father, who he was, who he was at home. And you realize there's no humanity in Erica's speech. She doesn't want you to think of Charlie as anything other than a vehicle for Turning Point USA, and he was so much more than that. He was so much more than that. And I think that's why, in retrospect, people watched my show, and people like Tila Loren said, "Why do I feel like," she tweeted, "Why do I feel like Candace Owens is the only one that actually cared about him?" I didn't even realize that when I was just saying, sharing all.
Yeah, for real. Rest in peace to Gigi as well, because that was when I found out Gigi was gone too. That was a tough day outside of Kobe himself, and hearing that too. So yeah, that was tough. I was in the middle of a college basketball game when I found out, so that was very hard to get through.
Those like little moments that I had with Charlie, that was unique, and that nobody was getting that from anybody who worked with him. They were just trying to encourage you to donate to Turning Point USA. This is what he would have wanted you to do.
Holy shit.
He wasn't like, yes, he loved building and he loved politics and all those things, but the actual Charlie was he was just so funny. Like, I mean, just like the fact that they didn't tell you who Charlie was and how he was really good at voices, and like he could mimic anybody's voice, and he just had the best sense of humor. He really did. And everything was just left on the table. They didn't care. It was all about building what Erica was going to step into.
Man, I'm only laughing at Shawn's reactions because I feel like he does this for like everybody. And I mean, it seems genuine, so I'm not gonna, what I mean? It's just always funny. He's always like, "Oh shit, really?" Like, I'm like, "You telling me you ain't know any of this, bro? Come on, bro. I'm not everything, but god dang, bro, throw me a bone. I know you know something."
Wow. Let's take a break. All right, Candace, let's get back to you. So 2007, looks like you got threats in your senior year.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I wrote about it in my first book. It was one of these moments that I think made me understand the media and how the media functions, sort of their ability to lie or sort of to create a narrative. And in retrospect, what happened could have just been understood in like a very high school way. I had a best friend.
It's 12:40 right now. Standing up did help me out. I feel like I can make it to like 1 o'clock. So that's 20 more minutes. We're at 1:20 out of a 4.5 hour interview. So I appreciate y'all for listening. We gonna keep it going for the next 20 minutes. We'll probably, like I said, this will probably be a 2-part series. So we'll resume tomorrow night.
Friend who was a guy friend of mine, and I think he's gay, by the way. I think he ended up being gay in life, but he and I hung out all the time until I got my first boyfriend, and that was it. I was totally the typical standard, ditch all your friends, spend nonstop time with your boyfriend, and he was really angry and bitter about that. Not because he liked me or anything, but just it was just, I guess, a disruption. And so one night, I guess, he rounds up a couple of guys who I had never met in my life, which is why it was scary when it happened, because I was thinking, I don't know who would leave me these messages. And they left, the boys, and I mean, the youngest was like 12 years old, I think, having his first beer, and they left like horrifically racist messages. Like, there's no question. We're going to put a bullet in the back of your head, like Rosa Parks. I mean,
holy shit.
It was a lot. And when it happened, I was like, what
his
on
favorite
earth? Like,
line,
who's calling me? I didn't think it was him because the voices weren't his. He had different people in the car. But
yeah, I'm not hooping tomorrow. I ended up hooping tonight. So I hooped tonight and I got on live. But no hooping tomorrow. So we will have a episode on a Wednesday. Indeed. Kyle, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Shawn Ryan is the worst interviewer ever. I swear he doesn't know anything. He swear he doesn't know anything. He swear he is the most oblivious man. It's kind of like a slight. It's a much different version in Tucker Carlson, but you know how Tucker Carlson sometimes will also act super oblivious to what's going on. I don't know if it's just like this little interview. I don't know, bro, but he definitely. I can't stand when they be acting like they don't know nothing.
One of the people ended up being the mayor and then eventual governor of Connecticut's son, which turned it into a political thing. And suddenly now everyone wanted to cover this. I hadn't even reported it myself. I actually was just talking about it in a philosophy class in high school. And my teacher at the time, who's now the principal of the school, of the high school, he's great, loved him. He was like, this is absolutely unacceptable. Look, you're going in right now and reporting this. And so he went right into the principal's office and reported it. And then it felt like everything was taken completely out of my control. And it was like front page fodder because it was, look what the mayor's son was involved in. I had never met the kid in my entire life. And the racism theme and the NAACP is showing up on the steps of my high school. They had never spoken to me, but the NAACP has got an NAACP. So that kind of shaped my ideas about them as well. Because no one cared about how we felt at that.
That's a fact. That's all he says. And it probably is performative. That's probably like his thing. It adds a dramatic effect to, the podcast. Someone said Andrew COVID is going crazy on X.
Okay. No one cared about really what probably should have happened is he probably should have been forced to apologize. And they probably, rather than smearing him as a racist, I mean, was he a racist? No, we were best friends. That's kind of the point. Did he do something and say something racist? Yes. You will be surprised how, when you're trying to hurt someone, how easily available it is to use a racist term, even when you're mad. I mean, there's comedic skits about that. Everyone turns into a racist as soon as someone cuts them off in a car, right? Like, the Spanish guy just cut me off. You know what I mean? Suddenly we're all racist when we're angry. There's some truth to it. You catch yourself. Yeah, you're sexist too. Woman driver, like female. Oh, he's a Chinese man behind the wheel. And so it was, the micro of that, pretty much. And more traumatizing than the messages was then having my life completely ripped from me and becoming like this micro celebrity victim, right? And nobody cared. And everyone's life got...
Just to give everybody an update, Andrew COVID is crashing out on X right now. It's just the beginning. I guess there's no point in sharing the screen. Just trust me on this. Someone clipped where Candace is talking about Charlie being the millions when he refused to take the money from Izzy. Andrew quoted that video and said it's false, absolute lies and garbage. And then he also said the same thing when Candace said, when she was talking about Erica stepping out of Charlie's funeral with Andrew COVID to get on the three-way call with the surgeon to line up their stories. Andrew COVID quoted and said, false, absolute lies and garbage. So he's watching.
Ruined in a different way. The kids I know ended up getting into a lot of trouble. I think the kid that was my best friend, I ended up leaving school for a bit and homeschooling just because I wanted, while the FBI was investigating the authenticity of the message, as if it was, I'm sure that was being pressed.
Oh, the FBI got involved?
Yeah, they did. And I think it was just because of the element of the politician who was trying to pretend his son didn't do it, as if what I called myself casually, and left these messages. I don't know why all that was even necessary. They should have just confessed, but I think they tried to get away with it in like a weird, stupid way. And the kids ended up getting arrested, and it was definitely not, it just wasn't dealt with in the right way. And it became this really big thing that ruined a lot of lives. And I think for a kid to be branded as a racist for doing something one night is really heavy. It's really heavy, especially when it's just fundamentally not true, right? Like I said, he wouldn't have been my best friend if he was a racist. And he I will maintain that he was not a racist. He did something really stupid and said a lot of really racist stuff when he was drunk. People make mistakes. It's hard, especially now in today's environment, to allow kids to make mistakes. Everything is so recorded. I mean, you see what they do if they.
Yep, y'all are definitely picking up. Well, we're all picking up kind of what just happened with Andrew Kovac. He definitely took some type of bait by saying that him stepping out of that funeral, well, both things, him stepping out of that funeral to get on the call, the three-way call with Erica to connect their stories and line them up or whatever. He said that that's false. So we'll see if Candace has something to prove that. And Charlie not taking the money and denying it. I think that's been brought up before, and Andrew Kovac has said it wasn't true before. So I don't know if anything will happen from that. But this is the first time Andrew is completely denying the idea or theory that him and Erica was talking to the surgeon and left the funeral early and all of that stuff. This is the first time he disputes that. So we shall see.
Find one tweet that someone sent that said, the N-word when they were 11 years old. And I remember sitting with my younger cousin one time, and he plays, what's the game? Not Grand Theft Auto, but it's one that's like it, where there's like a lot of guys love it. It's Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
I was about to say
and
Call of Duty.
He literally was 12 years old. And he's in the chat. Have you ever seen this Call of Duty chat? I'm sure you have, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unbelievable. It's just like this whole, and he's in there saying whatever and saying Allah Akbar and throwing a bomb. And he's like a 12-year-old kid. And I'm just sitting here going, okay, this is just 12-year-olds just trying everything out, saying what they can. You're going to push boundaries. I mean, it's a part of coming of age. It's like you push boundaries. And, Louis C.K. did a really good skit talking about what the phones are taking away from people. And it's this natural stage where people want to try out being mean. And if you say something to someone's face and you see how they react, and then you realize you don't really feel good being mean, it doesn't actually feel good to be mean. It allows you to kind of edit yourself as a human being. And things are really easy when you add technology as a layer. It's easy to tweet something stupid. It's easy to, say something vicious in the comment section. And we're now dealing with a generation of kids who are growing up terminally online. Whereas when I was growing up, my dad had a beeper, right? And so I don't have to think about the record where I'm sure I experimented with being mean in middle school, and social media has added another dynamic to it. So I kind of reflected on that, and again, don't regret any of the lessons from it. But I really do think that it's just seeing the obsession to politicize, and the NAACP and the Democratic mayor looking to try to cover this up. It kind of gave me an early introduction to what politics is, which is not really about solutions, but
you saw it right through all that shit at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I lived it, and it didn't help me. And so also even just the politics of victimhood. This is a victim. Who wants to be a victim?
A lot of people.
Yeah. Well, because money is made, and that is kind of the NAACP's grift in that is find me a Black victim and I'll show up and be in front of the cameras screaming about how racism still exists. And by the way, people are always going to say racist words and sexist words. And, I am just not a big believer in that. I'm not a believer at all in the idea that this is stopping me from getting from point A to point B. It's not really my business if somebody doesn't like Black people. Personally, I think everyone's just gotten too nosy. You're allowed to, when people ask me why I don't find, the inflammatory language to be such a threat, and it's just dumb. I find a lot of it to be really dumb. And if you're somebody who thinks I don't want to ever date a Black girl or a Spanish girl or a white girl, have at it. Man, it doesn't really impact my life. And so a lot of the hyper focus on that is because it keeps people constantly divided and warring and forming an opinion about stuff that doesn't actually empower any of us. And the people that are intentionally constantly stoking the flames of that are people at the top, of course.
Does the NAACP actually do anything for the Black community?
No.
Nothing.
They just find another victim and raise money. Of course, if your entire bottom line relies upon racism existing, you don't ever want to go out. Duh, common sense. It's sort of like, you even saw this with GLAAD, to give another example. Their whole grift was all about gay marriage, gay marriage, gay marriage. And then they got gay marriage. And they were like, got any more letters in that LGB bag? And they're like, actually, here's a T, a Q, an R.
Let
an
us
S.
invent some.
Yeah, exactly. So these people are not actually looking to solve problems. They're looking to constantly have.
Hang in there. I'm trying. We got 8 minutes. It's a good break too if they stay on this topic. Cindy, thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for streaming, Jay. Hit the like button, y'all. Definitely hit the like button. And don't forget to hit the sub button as well if you are new to the channel. Thank you for supporting. David Long, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. New York Firecracker, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for sharing the interview. No problem at all. I enjoy watching it with everybody at the same time. It's like a big old group chat, basically. So I am mind spending the big bucks, $5, but we all get to watch it together now. And we get to watch it tomorrow too, because it don't come out on YouTube until Thursday. So if you don't want to pay for it, if you want to save your little $5, that's cool. That's cool. Save it for some milk, for some eggs, and we can watch it tonight and we can watch it again tomorrow. So thank you for supporting. I appreciate it.
A problem that needs to be solved so that they can fundraise off of it.
Yeah,
they create problems. Like,
I mean, I feel like derogatory racial terms. I mean, it seems like they've completely lost the weight.
Yeah,
because they've overused it. Everything in every
possible regard. Yeah. And you just also we just need people to be tougher. Like, you'll be fine if somebody calls you the N-word. You'll be fine if somebody calls you a racial slur. Like, we just need to kind of build tougher people.
No, I don't have a baby registry. I do appreciate it. Everything's been bought, so I appreciate y'all for always supporting. He will be here in the next 2 weeks or so. And we shall keep it going from there. I don't have like this crazy paternity or maternity, or I'm paternity. My wife don't have maternity leave and all of that. So we'll push through it. And like we always do, life is going to keep lifing. Like Candace said, life is tough. Get a helmet. So while she's out, we will be making it shake and making some work as always. Nothing new.
People than to think that they're all coming apart because they've been called a name. Like, I want my kids to be tougher than that, you know?
Why do you think do you think it's for the money, the donations, whatever it is, like the
100%.
NAACP, or do you think it's bigger than that? Do you think, I mean,
it can get bigger than that.
The divide and conquer.
Absolutely. BLM was that example. I mean, when they get going, they can cause people to be at each other's throats, warring. They will cause a civil war before they get people looking at the corruption of what they're doing. And that's been tale as old as time.
Who do you think they is? They is a lot of different people.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. You know, there's totally different categories of topics that I cover on the show. You know, I think the biggest issue that we have right now in America, without question, is Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the satanic people who support what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodthirst, the control, they behave like a mafia. And I'm talking specifically about Zionists. And sometimes people will say, well, when you say Zionists, you mean Jews. I want to be very clear. The Judeo-Christians can be some of the most toxic gang-like people who are part of the same apparatus. So you actually can't isolate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have found, which has been the experience, I think, of a lot of people, especially over the last year.
Dude, I would vote for Candace Owens as president, bro. I'm just looking at her talk. I don't know, bro. It's just something about, like, she just got that. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is, but it's just so many things that I just can't put it into words because it's just fiery. You know what I mean? I can see it. This is probably a bad still image. So forgive me, Candace.
This is a gang. This is a mafia. This is not normal. What they did, the pressure they put Charlie under, what they did to me, what they're currently doing to Megyn Kelly. I mean, Megyn Kelly, I think, is probably the greatest example. What did Megyn Kelly do? Like, Megyn Kelly was like, I'm a Zionist. And they were like, we don't care. You say something about Tucker Carlson right now, or we will destroy you.
And you.
That's a mafia.
And you.
Yeah. And me. That's a mafia. That is, you are with us or you are against us. And I faced that obviously in my own life and saw that, and I called it out for what it is. And it's, by the way, we're late to the party. Michael Jackson was trying to say what it was. Kanye West was trying to say what it was. They lived through this mafia. And finally, we have people understanding that.
What did Michael Jackson say?
Michael Jackson had a list of the 6 Jewish people who he said were messing with his life. Rabbi Shmuley was on the list. I can't think of the other people that were on it, and that they called him an anti-Semite. They called him an anti-Semite because he was talking about control in Hollywood and people that he was fighting for control.
Who's Rabbi Shmuley?
He's just a crazy, crazy, deranged
Am I
human.
supposed to know him?
He had a lot to do with the Michael Jackson stuff because he called himself Michael Jackson's rabbi, and really kind of is just a person that is constantly threatening people out in the open, and is somehow allowed to do it because of what his father did for the state of Israel. And often you will find that thread of the people who are the most deranged and the most psychopathic, and yet somehow seem to be allowed to function in society. You just have to figure out who their parents were, who their uncles were, and they've done something for the state of Israel. So they're like in the Zionist mafia, as I describe it. It is a mafia. There's no question in my life. It's in my mind that it is a gang.
What was Kanye saying?
Well, Kanye, he notoriously tweeted that he was going to go DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people that had been toying with his life. And nobody cared when he dropped the actual text messages from his trainer, Harley Pasternak, saying that he would put him back in the hospital and he'd never be able to see his kids again. He drops the messages. We talk about a gangster threat. Like, here's how it's going to go. Harley Pasternak is a trainer. And Kanye was basically, before I was awake to this possibility, I was very much around him when this was all going down, when he tweeted this and when Adidas pulled his contract. He was at my house and all the stuff that was going on. And he was basically, I just thought I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like very green to this concept of someone saying that their life was a Truman Show. And he was like, basically like, are you a real person? Like, even to me, are you a real person? Like, and I'm like, are you good? Like, what do you mean? Like, you think I'm a character in a show? Are you real? He was going through this. And at its core is he felt like someone was directing his life and that the people had been controlling him.
The game plan is that once this segment of Kanye West, because I cannot stand like cutting things off right in the middle. I don't know how people do that. Get like 3 minutes left or something, and they're like, "Oh, I'll watch the rest tomorrow." What? I would lose my mind. So whenever she gets through this Kanye West thing, we will pause and resume tomorrow.
And he was going to stand up to these people, but Harley Pasternak was his trainer. I've covered this on my show. He's got a very checkered past. A lot of his clients have died in suspicious circumstances. And he also was like former Canadian CIA, like psychology or something. And then like decided to go be a gym trainer in LA, in Hollywood. And these are handlers. Handlers are real. This is a part of the onion of the Zionist mafia, in my view, is the handlers who are supposed to see if they can bring you back to the side of reason. Can't you see the error of your ways? And even when you're completely right, their job is to gaslight you into thinking that you're wrong. And I've had my experience. I believe that I had handlers and didn't recognize it. But Kanye, when he kind of really woke up to that, Harley Pasternak, he shared the message that Harley Pasternak, his trainer, gym trainer, wrote to him. And he said, here's how it's going to go. Maybe he said, you're going to say sorry or something. And then the message reads, or I'll take you back to Cedar Sinai, because Harley Pasternak is the one that got Kanye put on a Psych 5150 hole when they drugged him. And he said, and we'll take you back to, I think he described it as La La Land. And he said, and play dates with your kids will never be the same. We'll drug you out of your mind.
Holy shit.
It's in writing.
There it is.
And said Kanye was crazy. I said, no, Harley Pasternak's crazy. Who the hell is this man? It's not how a gym trainer talks. Who is this guy?
Let me let him do it.
Holy shit.
And so when Star
There you go. Dang what I was finna say. Dang it, Shawn. It's your fault.
Hollywood stars have been screaming and trying to tell you that something is wrong and that they suddenly wake up to the fact that they're in a prison. The first thing that happens is another layer of the onion comes out and calls them crazy. That's how that works. They say this person's having an emotional breakdown. They diagnose the people. And the reason for that is because that strategy of modern psychology was developed by Sigmund Freud, who was a Satanist, full stop. He was into Jewish mysticism, the occult, Sabbatian Frankism, and he began gaslighting kids who actually were being raped by their parents in Vienna. That is the true story of Sigmund Freud. There's a book on it by the man who controlled his archives called The Assault on Truth. This is a book written by a Jewish man. So there's no anti-Semitism in this book. And he worked under Anna Freud and was due to become the next director of a Sigmund Freud archives.
Okay. I feel like this is a good place to pause and stop. An hour and 37 minutes in out of a 4.5 hour interview. So this is crazy. This is by far, like, I'm assuming it's potentially one of the best interviews we will ever watch. 4 hours is crazy. Like, that is a lot of content. That is a lot of things to find out about, a lot of information in general. So I'm curious because the first hour and 30 minutes was great. And we got 3 more hours to go. So make sure you guys hit the like button again. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button. We will be back tomorrow, probably around not 10:50. I didn't even know I was gonna go live tonight, but it's usually around like 10:30. So it was like 10:15, 10:30, and we will resume at an hour and 37 minutes. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. Again, this is on Patreon on the Shawn Ryan's thing. I think it's like something elite, something with a V, something elite. You can pay $5 to go watch it on Patreon, to watch the whole 4 hours, 4.5 hours. If you don't feel like waiting, that's completely fine. And then it is free on YouTube in 2 days on Thursday. So I mean, it's Wednesday now. So tomorrow. Well, I don't know what time zone y'all in, but on Thursday, it is free on YouTube if you don't feel like waiting. Outside of that, you have to wait one more day if you don't want to spend any money. But we will be back tomorrow around like 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time. And we'll watch as much as we can. And we might be able to get through the whole thing just because I'll be more prepared mentally versus being tired right now. So I appreciate y'all for watching, of course. I hope y'all have a great night, and I hope y'all have a beautiful whatever tomorrow is, Wednesday. I'll see y'all on the next one.